Howdy, howdy, and welcome back to Gale FFTCG. I am Serah, your host, and today we got to talk about competitive FFTCG. So, the game is in a bit of a stalemate. The release of a new set is hyper exciting. I am so excited for the set. It is not only innovative, it is just interesting. There's so many cool different cards coming out, so many cool strategies. Old strategies are getting buffed. I'm all over it. But, unfortunately, there is a problem. The offset of the big events is starting to wear this community down. I have been a part of so many communities over the years. I've played Cardfight Vanguard, Final Fantasy, in past days, obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, and Magic the Gathering. I've played all of these games over the years, to some extent more than others. But I've been keeping an eye on all of the competitive scenes and the way the events are organized. I've been to multiple Cardfight Vanguard events when they were up and running. I was a part of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional, if you can believe that. I've been keeping up with Digimon and Magic the Gathering when the Pro Tour was happening. A lot of my videos have some mention of the Pro Tour or Magic the Gathering somewhere in them. That is a big part of my background in card games. Each one of them has had events that go on pretty much every month, sometimes even multiple ones across the month. Digimon has been fantastic for this of late. It's wildly important to their success. Magic the Gathering Pro Tour was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, card game thing ever. ESPN would run events in the olden days, before everything kind of went online, and very, very important things to know. Players in those communities often look forward to the game through thick and thin because they have something to look forward to. Even when the meta was awful or the game wasn't doing well from a design standpoint, or a card that needed to be banned wasn't banned, people would still watch because it was interesting and there was always something to look forward to. Unfortunately, FFTCG is falling away from that. There was a whole promise of regionals and nationals, and we've had all these regionals, and the people that won were so excited because you got buys for Nats and things like that. And that was amazing. But we literally haven't heard anything since then. And it's almost a bit of a running joke, but I'm getting tired of it. Unfortunately, this is hazardous to any game when they don't bring out events. So, examples of this might be things like, I don't know, Apex Legends, just going directly into video games. Whenever they release a new hero, or they have an event, Final Fantasy 14, they have events near constantly, and they're always new, and they're interesting, and there's always something going on with them between patches. And the patches obviously release their own new content and everything like that. Video games are perfect at doing this. They offer variety and events and fun. They speak of a thriving community and camaraderie between player and developer. This isn't happening in FFTCG, unfortunately. There is this disconnect between the active chat of the players and the developers. The players are talking about it endlessly. I have a group chat that's on mute. Not because of what's going on in there, but because it's just pings with like 900 plus messages on a daily basis. I just can't keep up with that. But when it comes to the players talking with the developers, it's very hard to get that. I know that's not true for most other games. This is how ban lists happen. So, the reason it's hurting the community is they're lamenting. And absolutely, you should be annoyed that you tried really hard and you played your absolute best in a regional event to not know when a nationals is coming up. It wouldn't even hurt if the developers were like, hey, we do have nationals in the works, here's our plan is coming along, if they kept us up to date. But there is basically radio silence on our end. I know it's different in Japan, and I know that that's something that they get something all the time for that. And I just wish we would get that here. I'm doing a little lamenting of my own in this video. The lamenting of the FFTCG community and most card game communities in general, is what sees a change. That's how ban lists are so important, is because oftentimes the players will give the feedback. There was a major banning in Magic the Gathering to do with a card called Oko. Oko quite literally was a hard ban because the developers didn't catch something, but they banned the card almost immediately because all of the players in the game went, hey, this is a problem, can you fix our problem? And they did. The issue here is that there's a lack of response from the developers and the distributors' parts. They're not responding quickly enough to the questions which the community, rightly so, should be asking. We asked for the Mashery ban, and they did it, but it took maybe longer than it should have. Some card games almost overnight emergency ban things. Magic the Gathering is a perfect example of this, and really that should never be their goal. And I think Final Fantasy has done a good job of banning cards that are generally quite toxic to the format. I don't know why it took Mashery so long to get banned. Even though, again, I've done a whole video on Mashery and Wind cards, etc., 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 I think Wind is actually going to be in a good spot. And these things change sometimes. The issue, unfortunately, is that the community becomes far more negative as a community when, like, you want to just show up, you know, and enjoy your games or whatever, but when the community isn't being heard and they're largely saying negative things and negative feedback, and they only, you know, they want everything served up to them on a silver platter, which they should. It is a product. You want to make sure your product is quality. So even delays, I think this is how, like, the Final Fantasy games have, you know, gone on as long as they have, even with delays and things getting pushed back and products being restarted, is generally the quality is higher, and they are unapologetic in the way that they're like, we're going to delay this thing because we don't think it's a high enough standard. There's a high bar set, and that's fine. But that happens very, very rarely, even from Square Enix's standpoint. For us, it's not being met, and because of that, with a video game, you know what, there's plenty of other video games, but unfortunately with Final Fantasy, there's only one Final Fantasy trading card game. And most of us, quite a few people actually that I know who play this game, only play the Final Fantasy trading card game. They've never played anything else, or they have some other geekery thing. But most of them don't play card games. They play Final Fantasy, and that is it, exclusively. So it's hard to stay in a community when the community is just almost always negative. And rightly so, we should be doing this. But again, it's a problem. It's a double-edged sword, really. We're asking for information, which a fan base of anything should be able to ask for. It should be readily open. They should have, even if they have one specific, like, officer in a room who literally just answers Twitter posts all day, and YouTube comments, and etc., etc., etc. And, like, they should at least have, like, a list of answers, like, hey, when is the next big event happening? I am sorry, I don't know when the next event is happening. However, there are plans in the works. You can expect to see them X, you know, third quarter, fourth quarter. Use video game language if you have to. Square Enix is a video game developer, or primarily a video game developer. They understand the language of games. If you're going to use that, then go, hey, in quarter 4 of this year, we are going to have some events. Stay tuned. These are things that we can do. We're asking for it over and over again, and we're seeing no fruit from that. There's no change, so the community is getting rightfully frustrated. But the problem is, it makes the community more toxic when we get frustrated. The community all wants a thing, but constantly seeing the same negative stuff over and over in our communities does not build a stronger community. If anything, it's people start to detach. I understand if you don't want to play a game, especially when that game only releases 4 sets a year and isn't like bringing out new stuff all the time. I mean, hey, look, if FFTCG could learn anything, it would be to take a playbook from Magic the Gathering or Cardfight Vanguard or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon and release little small extra boosters or something like that that add a couple of new things to the game all the time. I think those are great. We sometimes get those with starter decks and things, but those tend to precede a set generally. So we do get those things, but we don't get them that often. And it might be helpful to do that. Take notes, Square Enix. But the problem is, going back to the problem with being frustrated, the game that we all love suddenly starts to be a little less lovely. We are so excited for this game that we want to have more reasons to be excited about our game. It's our passion, it's our drive. That's why competitive is important for Final Fantasy. It brings out the best and the most passion out of anyone when we can do something seriously and enjoy it for what it is. There are days where I wonder what the point in playing the game is anymore, especially on the more negative days where all it seems to be that I see is we need this event, or this jab at Square Enix. Does Square Enix deserve it? Probably. No, absolutely they deserve it, because they're not handling this game as well as they could. I 100% agree with that. But to hear it on a daily basis over and over and over doesn't make me want to play the game anymore. It just makes me want to go, shut up, and throw in the towel, and just be like, I can't be bothered with this game anymore. The community just won't stop being negative about everything around the game. Like, the game could be great, and the community could still be negative about it just because they're not being heard. And I understand the groaning. I do. Trust me, I'm making a groan video, but we need to balance it. You know? The problem is that I understand that there needs to be events. There does. The reunion event and the re-raise events and the regionals have been so cool. They are my favorite memories this year, and they're honestly some of the biggest memories I've had in a long time that I've looked back fondly on the whole time and enjoyed them all. Maybe more than any other card game I've ever played. And I have a lot of good memories from pretty much my whole time playing card games, but this is a very different sort of thing. The more that the community gets jaded, the more we lose the spirit of the game that we had in the first place. And the problem for me over the past year has been trying to recapture that spirit. I want to enjoy the game, even if there's no events. I feel like sometimes the community is so focused on the events that maybe we forget to actually just have fun. The events are important, again, but if we're jaded, what's the point? So, gotta put this on a positive note. We can only do our bit. We can talk to Square Enix about the lack of events and all that continuously, and we should do it. Keep doing it. Do it till it annoys them, because that's the only way things will change. You're correct. Look at the Master Reban. The community was key in making that happen. We are important to this game. Do not forget that. Don't hear this video as a, we need to stop being key to the game. No, without us, this game does not exist. It doesn't. This game does not exist without us. On a local level, though, you can still turn up every day that you can. I understand work and life and all that happens. It does happen. We need to address that this is not our lives. We enjoy it. We have fun with it. It's a game. We'll maybe come off of work and we'll hang out with our mates and play this game. Sure. In fact, that's my favorite part of this whole thing. Sometimes I don't even look forward to the event so much as going to the pub or the bar or the hotels that we're going to, that we stay in when we go abroad after the events. That is my favorite time. I'm not even gonna lie. I love the game, but I love even more the companionship that we have in the game. If you and one other person turn up, you've done it. You've made it. You have kept the game alive. In my local shop, we've had some supply issues, among other things, and unfortunately, that's meant that we have no product. Turn up anyway. It's not about the product. It shouldn't be. If product is an issue, there are some lovely stores online that I can link you to in the description below. In fact, I'm gonna do that, because they've kept me in the game. Where I can't necessarily get stuff on a local level, I still care enough about the game to go out and buy it. And I understand it's not feasible for everyone. I do, trust me. And I'm in a lucky position. Not everyone can afford that. I do understand that. But the thing is, the game is only as fun as it is on the local level. I admire Steve D, Travis Pfeiffer, James Duff, Jonathan Taylor Bird, big figures in our community that help me to remember why this game is so good and why I enjoy it. Locals are more important if we turn up and just enjoy the game as it is. It's all we can do as long as the developers remain silent, unfortunately. Unfortunately, they've continued to remain silent. And there's only so much we can do about that. We can keep complaining. We have to keep complaining. We have to keep asking and demanding that they do better. We do. But if we can't turn up and just have fun playing the game, then what is the point in getting passionate and excited and annoying the developers to, oh, we're blue in the face, and just keep annoying them? There's no point in complaining if we can't have fun in the first place, if we don't want to have more fun. So I think we need to remember why we're complaining. Keep playing the game and holding out. Seriously. Honestly, like, going off script. Seriously, just play the game. Keep going, keep pushing, because it will get better. I want it to get better. I hope it gets better. There are good things coming. Hold on. Keep being vocal. Keep doing those things, because they are the right things to do. Keep being vocal. And Square Enix, please do better for your community. We want this game to succeed. We are so excited about this game all the time, but every time you set us back, we're not able to, we lose a little bit of passion. And that's the biggest struggle for me. I've seen games die. I saw Vanguards that I played for so many years peter out because the player base wasn't there. I've watched the Pro Tour of Magic the Gathering stop, and I've seen the standard version of Magic the Gathering just die out. These are things you can avoid. And yeah, I could go on for another 30 minutes about this whole thing. But to the players, the people that I make this content for, the stuff that is important, the actual reason that this game is as good as it is, just keep playing the game. Have fun. The new set drops tomorrow, actually, at the time of this recording. Enjoy it. Have fun. I'm going to be putting up so much content, you won't even be able to keep up with it. I am just going to keep making videos because honestly, I still love this game and I want to make it the most fun that I can, and I want to help you guys do that too. So, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've done set reviews. I'll put those in the comments below as well, so that I can basically show you all the cards I'm super excited for in this next set. But have a great day and a great rest of your week.